Hi, Catherine.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? So we have a forum and we can begin the meeting. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Carol, call the roll. Mark Gausco. Jason C.
Present.
Is it C or Sia? I'm sorry. Sia. Jason Sia. Catherine Wilson
Present.
and Chair Godwin.
All right. So we have a quorum. And the first step order of business is the Liberty Street new residential project. So I forgot your name, sir. JB. Okay. Please, you submitted some revised drawings.
Yes. Some. I think the revised drawings, what the board have required to understand that we did something different from Routledge.
Mhm.
So we did add a stone veneer.
Yeah, I saw that.
And flat siding.
That's through it.
And we did as well, we enlarged the portico to be 6 feet deep. And we brought it samples of the material.
John,
Yep.
you're driving. Let me know.
Okay. We had a better landscaping plan, just never made it to this middle, but.
I was gonna ask that one.
I was saying, wait a minute. Yeah,
No, are you saying there's one that replaces this?
yes.
Okay, I didn't see it, but keep going.
No, we don't, it wasn't submitted on time, so.
Oh,
It's not, but we do have landscaping along the sides.
and may I ask them, since you're on this, the question I had was, where is the stone wall retaining wall in the plan? Because it doesn't really point it out, and it's hard to sort of orient.
We have those retaining walls on the side. Creating the.
No, but also it's not the existing.
Oh, okay.
Forgive me, yeah, I meant the existing curved one. Because there's nothing there, I mean, that will be on the new plan that you see.
Mhm.
Okay, so that all those questions will be answered with the other plan. Okay.
And I mean, we tweaked the plan a little bit in order to enlarge the portico and still be in compliance with the zoning.
So it's
4 feet to 6 feet. Huh?
you went from 4 feet to 6 feet.
Yeah. And then she continued to the elevations.
Yeah, may I mention one thing, JB, about the elevation? You have a fireplace in the living room, but it's no chimney on your elevation up right there. Not there, the other elevation, but not further. Yeah, to the right. The right, yeah. There would be a chimney there or no?
No, it'd be the right event, but we should show the.
Oh, so there isn't gonna be a chimney.
Went to the event, so yeah, show that. And we extended the stone veneer.
What kind of a chimney, what kind of a fireplace is in the living room?
It's a gas fireplace or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe make a note of that. There'll be two of them though, right? One for the fireplace and one for the boiler. Are you getting gas for a boiler?
I'm not, we haven't,
No, you haven't figured it out yet?
yeah. Which is, it used to be that gas was sort of question, but now it's back into play, so. And we didn't change the 3Ds neither, but you can see what you had, what we have proposed before,
Yeah.
go up in the elevation. We added the stone veneer and the hydrant.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Where would?
Down. Yeah, there, in order to not to have so much stucco exposed, we added a stone veneer base.
Mhm. And the color, again, we don't really have samples yet of the side, right?
Here,
You brought some. Oh, you do. Great. It's hardy board, right? Is that what I remember, JP?
party plan.
Hardy.
The white. This is the white that's going to go on blurry, but the color. Probably they can get a lot of things, but this is in the story of. This is the.
And what's the color, is the color noted on the drawing?
So this is the overall color, and the trim's gonna be white. So it's gonna be white this week.
And so the only thing missing would be, you know, an indication of what those guardrails would be on your terrace. I mean,
They pull them out, we don't have a sample.
well, that would be an important thing to clarify. But okay, so. Because I think we had brought it up the other meeting. It's certainly a very substantial home, as they laid out. It's like what, 3,600 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big, really big house, very nice.
And the stone veneer, that's a natural stone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. You have a sample or even a screenshot of what stone veneer looks like?
No, but looking for that.
That would be great. Let's see if we can color mix it. Hopefully.
Is it a veneer or is it an actual stone?
It's gonna be a veneer.
Okay.
No problem.
But it's not gonna be that concrete. That's
No.
Now, the side elevation showing the front porch, is that the extended porch or is that still, it looks like it's still shortened?
Yeah, it looks like it's 4 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
one need to be, adjusted.
Okay.
Now, there's gonna be the actual windows or with the divide, is it simulated? True divided, or is it
Simulated.
just snap it?
But I do like to have the bottom place.
Okay. Catherine, do you have any questions? Can you see it all?
Yeah, I can see everything. I don't have any questions so far.
Okay. No other comments or questions?
Next, if we can have the updated elevations of the site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In some kind of an image, for example, of what the stone veneer looks like.
Okay.
We very stone veneer will have so photograph.
so, yeah, I think if I can summarize our points. We need information on stone veneer, either a sample, a small sample palette or photograph of what it's going to be. More information on the guardrail, if it's a standard off the shelf system, picture of it installed with whatever you're proposing. You're going to revise the elevations just, to make them fit the revised plan with the porch and putting in a flue for the gas chimney and the gas fireplace, and then the grading plan or the site plan which get submitted will come in. But other than that, I don't believe. Do you have something else, Jason?
Yeah, what if the bay window there in the front, what is the material on that? And
That's gonna be, it's the same, whatever we use for the trim, we're gonna send it there.
okay.
Oh, and it's a flat roof over the bay window, huh? Or is that
Just from experience, I'd recommend against it. I'm just saying.
no, well, it's
Slope it out, yeah.
what is your intent? Is it gonna be just, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but maybe I would be able to see it from my place, but is the roof of that bay window gonna be just the metal or is it something else?
Yes, that's gonna be more like an EPDM flat roof, but I think now, that's for stingy and I think Jason is right.
Yeah.
Instead of a little metal roof, then.
The bay window in my house
Yeah.
is like that, 2 stories, and it's flat. It's got a slight pitch on it, but even still, the drip edge on it, everything that builds up on there, tree and branches and whatnot, it creates a mess.
Yeah, feel free to reevaluate that
Mhm.
with the revised elevation. Okay, so other than that, we have no other comments.
Okay.
I think it's very impressive, huh?
I think more curious about the site and the fill.
Yes, well, I think we all are, but I guess the new drawing will take care of that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. With that, I think that's the end of our comments for this project. I wish to adjourn to the next meeting in March. Thank you. Do we have a place to keep this stuff for such a library? The examples, people don't have to keep bringing them back and forth and we can hang on to them.
We used to, I don't know. Jamie, you know what? Take them with you and then you call Jamie in tomorrow. Because I used to do that, but I didn't know the case.
Yeah, it'd be good to keep on record. And if she can't, well, you know what? I could take it and hold on. Is that all right if I took it and held on to it? No. Okay.
But no, I stopped saying no objection.
Oh, no objection. All right. So if you'd like, JP, I can hang on to it. Now I'll take the whole thing. Yeah, I'll just store it. There you go.
You made out.
Somebody can. Great. Oh, wait a minute. What's this for?
That's the middle room.
Metal room. Okay.
Are you gonna do any snow guards or anything on the? Recommend, because when they slide off, they hurt when they hit you.
A lot of experience.
Yes.
Tonight.
Scared the bejesus out of my cat. It was like dead bodies falling off the roof.
Oh, wow.
All right. Thank you, Jim. And next, oh, sorry. Okay. The next project, file HPC 1-2024. And it's 165 Main Street. Welcome.
Well, hi, my name is Michelle Noe. I'm the Senior Director of Capital Projects at Open Door. And I'm sorry I wasn't at the last meeting. I was had an emergency, but I did watch the video, so I think I'm up to speed as much as possible. And I've certainly spoken with our architects. He's out of town this week. But we do have, that was the principal, Rob Masters, but we do have Brett Goldberg, who is the project architect, standing by to sort of supplement what I'm prepared to talk about. So, I see Brett like this, many times a week.
Hi, Brett. Good evening. If you could come over here. Yeah, there you go.
Good evening. Yes, I needed to get my
So,
accept as panelist and join properly. So thank you.
so this is, are you showing the revised?
This is the
Revised, yes. Okay, good. So just to start out with, your comments were on that east elevation that you wanted. I think we're having a reverberation, Brett. Maybe.
I'll go back on mute. I'm sorry.
Your comment was that of those three windows where the block is being replaced, originally the window in their design was to just replace the existing window, which is a little lower than the other two. But now all three are the same size. I think if you keep going, there's a drawing. There you go.
Yeah.
And there's a water table which will be infilled, and so it's all continuous. And so I think that addresses pretty easily the comment that you had about that window. So that was easy. If we go to the front facade,
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
did I miss that? That's existing now?
No,
That's
proposed.
yeah,
Photoshop
the
thing?
third.
Oh, I see the mechanical enclosure photoshopped on the tops.
Yeah, on the left-hand window is now glass block and it's lower than the other two.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the.
You wanted it to line up.
Lost track of, oh, yes, I see. Yeah, okay.
So it now lines up and it has the water table continuously across.
Okay.
So that was that window. Then if we could go to Main Street, the elevations on Main Street, because your other comment was that the windows, if they could have some more relationships in historical context, that would be a really good thing. So the architects, and I'm speaking really on behalf of what they are suggesting, is that they want to introduce a horizontal mullion that kind of refers to transoms, like that little doorway that you can see recessed next to the left there. That has a transom. And so it's sort of a little bit of a horizontal, a historical vocabulary that is kind of visible underneath the awnings, because a lot of the buildings in this neighborhood originally had awnings, but Open Door still does. So that was their proposed response to something that didn't completely change, because if the windows, if you look at an elevation, the windows above are very simple. So we don't want to go, completely in another direction from, thank you for going back and forth, from that. But just sort of referring to the idea of a transom was what they were proposing.
And you change the color of the enclosures on top.
Pink.
Well, that's the next piece.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so the next piece, those are the windows, is that we've looked at a bunch of different things. So the height of the units is, set, but Brett can go into a little bit about how they've been able to reduce the heights of some of the enclosures. And also they have changed them to a horizontal enclosure, which they think, which is more in keeping with the horizontal nature of the material of the building. And also just, has the appearance of a little bit more horizontal and less vertical. And some of the dimensions are dictated by the size of the panels that you can get. You can't get like a half a panel, you can only get these whole sizes. So Brett can go into a little bit about how that worked. We couldn't really shift the location because of structure, but we have been able to reduce the heights. So Brett, do you want to, let me just say one other thing. They looked at the colors, and unfortunately the sample they asked for didn't get to me in time, but they are looking at changing the color from a gray to a putty. We could look at that after, we go down to the cut sheets, but that color they think really relates more to the lintels, which are, a historical kind of feature of the building, and it just kind of blends a little bit more without making too much of a statement, because they don't want to make a statement with those with the enclosures. So Brett, if you're able to just go over a little bit more the height changes.
Sure, yes, I hope my audio doesn't give you too much feedback. Looking at the elevation, number one there, you have, they're numbered. ER2 is the one on the left, ER1 is the one on the right. ER2, when I was working with the AHU manufacturer and the screen panel sizes, they come in a 52-inch and a 70-inch. I was able to reduce them at 52 and 52, but in speaking with the AHU manufacturer, the screens needed to move up just on this one. So this one actually moved up by about a foot.
What is this one?
The one on the left, on the top elevation.
Gotcha.
The one on the right, it actually got 2 foot 3 inches shorter. So I think that's the one that you had wanted to see to move back, that we weren't able to do because of structure and also because of where the incoming ductwork comes straight down through the curb into the building. We don't have anywhere we can move the duct chase to without being in the middle of our waiting room on the third floor. But that one reduced in height the most of the three by 2 foot 3. So that one got considerably shorter. And that one ended up being only a single panel tall. That one, I believe, is a 70-inch panel instead of a 52 and a 52 like the one next to it. And then ERU3, which if you scroll down to the elevation on the bottom of the page, the one that's kind of hidden in the back, that one also, like the first one, gets a 52 and 52-inch panel stacked atop one another, and that one got an inch or so shorter. So I believe the most prominent one when you're coming down the hill looking at the building is the one that reduced in height the most by over 2 feet. And in changing the yes, sorry.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, and in changing the panel from being vertical to horizontal, it's still a perforated panel. The horizontality of that, at least in perception, will help it feel shorter because it's not vertical lines running up and down in Alcor. more closely relates to the clapboard on the front of the building and other fenestration windows and such on the front of the building that this kind of fits in a little better with. And like Michelle had said, the color, we had changed it from, I believe it was called shadow gray now to putty. And putty is fairly close to the color of the coping on the top of the building and some of the lintels too. Yeah. So I think we've more closely matched the color to not so much the yellow of the building, but some of the trim pieces and coping a little better. But that's the main gist of everything that happened with those three. Hopefully the shorter ERU1 by being 2 feet shorter, it feels a little better when you're coming down the hill now. And I think in the elevation, not elevations, I'm sorry, the renderings, the 1 footer we coming down the hill, you can tell that it's considerably shorter to the one next to it.
I think one of my questions from last time was I really wanted to see an elevation without the screen with the mechanical unit on top to see what it actually looks like, because I hate to say these screens actually draw more attention to the roof than if something was only a couple of feet above the parapet.
Well, they're not, unfortunately. They're pretty sizable and they're not very attractive.
I understand this. Been in the construction industry for 30 years, so I get it, but I just want to see what these things look like. How tall are they? Are we adding more to this than really needs to be? Or
Brett, can you, do you have the dimensions by any chance?
because that's what I could tell on the plan is I saw the existing plan, but there's no new plan showing the size and location of this. So
Are they also for acoustic too, by the way? Are they
The acoustics are going to be addressed by other methods, vibration control and.
No, well, some of these screens come with sound.
yeah, so you don't have to, neighbors don't have to listen.
So I don't know if that's a restriction or what you're doing or not.
It is a consideration. We're using it's called a vibroacoustics noise control curb. It handles both vibration and it has an acoustic plenum in it as well. We just recently this week have been comparing it to a build-up curb where we can add insulation and insulation board to kind of create a sandwich. And this noise control curb actually performs better than a custom solution. So this is a kind of the only thing on the market we could find that provided us with the external sound absorption to the community and also internal into the buildings as well, because we want quiet rooms underneath these.
I mean, if there was a dotted line adjacent behind the wall, it just outlines the height of the.
Yeah, I mean, that would be helpful because, I'm just looking at an empty box and really not quite sure why.
Yeah, I have at least the height dimensions. The one at the bottom right on the lower roof is actually only about 8.5 inches shorter than the top of the screen. And the two on the front of the building, the taller one is about 1 foot shorter than the top of the screen, and the shorter one on the right is about 1.4 foot shorter. So they do stick up a little bit because of the panelization, but it's not much past.
What about laterally? Laterally, do they?
Laterally they have about 3 feet around of airspace on all sides of the unit, so that when you slide the panels are slidable so that you can step through it and service the machines. And that 3 feet gives you enough space to get a maintenance person inside of there.
I don't know if that's satisfied Jason, or we want to see that.
So it sounds like it's a little more than 1 foot lower for the one we're looking at on the left. And it's about 8 inches lower, the one we're looking at on the right.
Yeah. I think probably the one on the right is probably the least of the concerning being stepped away. But, I was just down there over the weekend and that is a very prominent facade.
It is.
And so just the over those screens are just really sort of concerning.
Yeah.
Being there.
No, it certainly helps coloring them.
Yeah, I think.
So this is them. So this now in the putty color. Now they're different heights. So they don't even align.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. Is there a cut sheet of what those panels actually look like?
Yeah. I think it's up above from the last proposal. Exterior materials, maybe? Am I looking at the right one? Maybe I was looking at yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there's different versions. I'm not sure exactly which one. Yeah.
That's the one.
That's similar. Yeah, that's more of a louver than the perforated corrugate that we have. But believe if you go down further in this, you'll see metal infill options, and I can point you to which one it'll be. Oh, this looks like it's circled.
Yeah.
That was the
That's
previous.
But it's
Yeah.
the one directly to the left of it, the 7.2 horizontal.
You could just open that same sheet and it's just, he'll point out the right one that.
Nope.
Oh, no, back up.
Go back up.
Yeah.
This one,
The one 7.2 horizontal perforated. Yes. So it's similar, but just rotated 90 degrees.
Perforated meaning like, it's not a solid.
It is not solid.
And
The
Go out
color's
there.
low.
Sorry, no, but this sheet hasn't been changed to.
No, the color putty is right to the left.
This is last week, this is.
Yeah, this hasn't been it's on fake, okay?
Yeah. No, it hasn't. That was from last presentation. We're just really,
I see
really not.
plenty, it's that very white color.
Well,
It's actually,
actually, you really need to have the sample.
yeah, we
It's
really,
pretty bad.
Looks pink.
Representation, yeah. But anyway, that would be simple to get,
you would think.
well, yeah, I mean, it should be simple.
No, we wouldn't do it without samples.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I mean, the next panel down looks like there's some trim options. I mean, I think
I think that depending on the way it's installed, the trim, dictates the trim options. I don't know if you looked at that yet.
Yeah, we've shown the two-step trim now that more correlates with the cornices of the building than that original lineal band did. So the two-step is what.
Yeah, so you just need to change the sheet. So it reflects
Yeah.
what and was there kind of a contradictory observation a couple minutes ago that too bad the units don't have the same height? Is that something that somebody here wants to discuss further?
I made that comment, but I mean, that would mean that the short one would have to get taller, which is
worse.
probably worse. So it's, I mean, the two buildings look so different.
I don't have a problem with them being different height, my own opinion, but
Yeah,
you know, we can't have it both ways. We can't tell you in but
agreed.
yeah.
Just an observation.
No, I understand.
Um,
It could be nice if it
I'm
was.
trying to find any way possible to get comfortable with these. And it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, I understand the mission of Open Door and we want to be very conscious of their resources. At the same time, setting a precedent in front door velocity, we're just going to continue to have aesthetic issues downtown for it.
Yeah.
It's really,
I mean, to your point, that's very prominent, and it's going to be the first thing out of everyone's mouth. What the heck is that?
yeah.
Well, right now, you don't see anything up there. Is that what I recall? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
If you were to get that same view.
You see some old crusty equipment.
Kind of
No, right there is the picture. I don't see a mechanical shed. I don't see anything poking up. Now, that's what you're talking about. That there's nothing there now. And now when you go to this HVAC, there it is. Now you got to put in.
And I guess my other question would be is what are the size of these units? You know, can this be more of a dual split unit that you can, instead of doing one large one that you end up with something this big, can you do smaller ones that you don't need all this? I don't know.
We did try to explore that with our MEP engineers because this is Article 28. It required higher air volumes than we could provide with the dual splits.
My other thought is, can you get even bigger and just put it on the lower roof? And
Oh, that just won't really work in
That's not
terms of
gonna fly.
heating, because the shape of the building, there's nothing above the lower roof, so we would have to, how would we get over to the?
I'm just thinking out loud.
I know, believe me, I understand.
Oh, in a small way, it's kind of consistent though with what happened along Main Street, because you see those fake, I don't know what you want to call them, bulkheads on the building far end, and then you see the elevator overrun. So in that respect, there's like a precedent for these things poking up. If you want to, that's one thing that occurs to me anyways.
I almost think it'd be better if the screen was painted to match the building and the trim on the top was painted to match the blue trim on the building. It would look like it was part of the building. It would draw more attention to it, but at least it would look like it was part of the building, and it would look intentional. I mean, it's not pretty, but it's better.
My own opinion is just having a monochromatic, what makes it blend in or be less obtrusive, but I understand your point. I mean, there is a very vibrant blue horizontal line, maybe that's something other people would also like to see. Yeah. It is what it is, right? I think certainly making it closer to the color of the building, the putty that's a good idea, doesn't call attention to exactly much. And you know, you can't, by the way, just for devil's sake, you need the enclosures, right? Because you need to have the sound absorption, I imagine. It's not like you could do this without the enclosure. Not that I'm bad.
It was the Austin zoning code that led us to adding these because they were required. Yes.
Yeah, so they have to be done, and I think probably better that they are. Well, Catherine, do you have any comments?
I think the horizontal helps, and the color helps. I don't know if I missed this, but is custom color, like color matching, an option for this?
It is, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it because it did make it better that it's this lighter color. It's almost like it's right, like close to being there. If it would be nice to see it in the tone of the building, just it might
Instead of
push
the
it to
look
that.
saying the wall,
The yellow.
the yellow, yeah,
That's a brick.
yeah, the brick, that could be even nicer.
Can I bring up something? And I don't know if I should be doing this, but I mean, these are the colors today. I mean, we're now doing this renovation for the next, 40 years. Is it possible that at some point in the future, the color might be different and then you're locked into it because you have a rooftop unit and the enclosure being a specific color rather than something kind of neutral?
Same thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I wonder how they apply the color, if it's something done in manufacturing or if it's something done on site that could be
No,
changed. I have no idea.
it's manufactured.
Yeah, I think it's a kind of
It's got a warranty and all that stuff.
Electrostatic paint or something.
Yes.
Well, you can't, I don't know, I guess you can't field paint it because of the perforation. But do you know if that's a possibility or you?
I'm sure you would get a warranty, yeah.
Wouldn't be pretty. You don't want to feel keep that out.
Well,
On the floors in preparation.
well, no, I mean, you can spray it maybe that may work, but
I mean, if you prep it right, then it peels off and then looks
Well,
like hell in
It also comes attached, Brett, does it get field installed or installed in the in fabrication?
The screen walls, they would be field installed because they have to build the structure off of the Aon unit itself up there and then attach each of the panelized system to it.
Yeah.
But the paint, they're, I'm guessing that they're fabricated. They're not.
Yeah.
Correct.
To Catherine's point, there could be I don't know, if we can go back to the color palette, which is not very reliable to look at on the screen, unfortunately, but if you go back to the picture, the picture you just had, Maddie, no, it's of the building. Yeah, the picture we're just looking at. With the bulkheads. Yeah, so, Catherine, I think it's an interesting point. I mean, if you look at the elevator bulkhead in the middle building, that's painted to match the building itself. And maybe as a precedent, possibly investigating something that doesn't match the lintels but matches the brick. Do we know for sure there's nothing that can match that, or is it just a conscious decision to match the lintels?
Yeah, but I think as they just discussed is, then you're locking the color of the building in what it is currently.
The building is what it is, yeah. And we're going to replace the panels with the color. I personally don't know if that's. Did you have plans to try to change the color?
No, but I'm just saying, the future, we can't predict the future. And I think the building you're referring to has brick on the lower portion, right? And then it's masonry of some kind.
Well,
it's not painted.
It's not over, whatever it is, it matches, seems to match the side walls and the walls and everything. I'm just saying, as a precedent, we're trying to clutch at straws. There's if the bulkhead, if the mechanical fence maybe match the brick, you know, I think it would be even less obvious. And it would be more in keeping with what's been done, at least in the building next to it, which is obviously small scale. The only question is that kind of paint available, that color available? And something you look at it, if people feel that the putty just doesn't cut it.
Well, maybe we should just get samples of a number of different things. And, you know, so you can see we can see how closely we could get it.
Yeah.
Is it your concern though whether or not panels could even be painted?
No, the panels come factory painted. We just have to specify, yeah, there was a color chart that
It
we
won't be any.
You can get them factory painted in a custom color.
Yes.
Ah,
you can.
right, okay, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
No, we would not field paint them and
Yeah,
worry about
Okay,
that.
but
Logistics of getting them up there and
Yeah.
not destroying them.
sometimes it's possible to get a chip or even a color from the building. And then have the
Yeah.
painting duplicate the.
Yeah.
Actually, so that shouldn't be.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
can definitely try that.
would it be too much to ask if you get the color palette from the manufacturer?
Mhm.
If you took a photograph of it on the side of the building, just like with your phone, so you could see which one's closest.
Okay, sure, we can do that. Absolutely.
That might help to draw us to one color or the other and. Yeah.
Do you have any other comments, Steve?
And I'll just throw this out, you know, okay, so maybe paint the panels, the color of the building, if they can be done. And there seems to be a ridge running along the top of that structure. And if you look at the one to the left, that appears to be that, whatever you want to call it, the ledge or the top rim
The elevator
is
bulkhead.
right. I'm just wondering, and then we have the lintels of those windows on the side are white. I was just wondering if that could be painted white, if that might make it look more part of the building. I don't, you know, I'll just throw that out.
The trim painted white.
No, he's talking about
The enclosures, right?
Like the enclosure
So,
body, the color of the building, but then that, whatever you
the
call it.
cornice.
so I'm not sure that white is really as accurate. I mean, because the architects were suggesting that the roof should be putty because that matches the window. So I think we need to look at it more in the field because, you know, when you take a picture, it's never exactly right.
Yeah.
And also the light hitting it on east versus, you know, south, it's different.
But I mean,
So we
that's,
should look at that though.
Throw that out.
that's what these renderings, you know, are able to, you know, produce is to give you that simulation of an actual color. So you've got this one here. I think we'd probably also want to see this rendering in something that is a custom match to the facade of the building. And then doing
Right,
a
yeah.
something with the cornice up top and either contrasting color to match the existing
The
building.
screen match the brick and the cornices match the cornice of the screen, match the cornice of the windows. Might look,
Maybe that would help, yeah.
might look more historically contextual. Is it, we're never gonna make it go away, so if there's a way to make it, give it some historical context. So that it looks purposeful. Would I think could go a long way.
Would you feel the same for the lower roof?
For the one in the back.
Yeah,
About that.
but I mean,
Pretty, I think, yeah, all three should match.
We may have that, well, my opinion is it should be monochromatic, unless you do to make contrast the more innocuous it could be. But, you know, so that's, that would be my vote.
Scroll to the other elevation, the rendering that shows all three from the back.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the.
that's what it looks like from the aqueduct. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
So are we resolved to, can this be something to be adjourned to the next meeting? To see the Photoshop with the barriers matching the brick as close as possible, be confirming how close you can get to it. And could there be two versions, one with contrasting trim and matching the lintels and the other just monochromatic match the brick?
yeah, certainly. We'll find out if they can do two different colors. I would imagine that they can because they sell the the components separately, so we'll look into that.
Would that satisfy everyone for the next meeting?
No, I think I want to see a mechanical plan for the roof, to see where these things are, what size they are, elevations, straight on the units. I just want to, a little more detail go into this because this is, like I said, very prominent facade in very prominent location. So
if they dotted the equipment behind,
they can dot it behind it, but I do, they also need to provide plans of everything on top of
So you
it.
want a roof plan,
Yeah.
and it's okay to dot the actual size.
the elevation,
Yeah.
but not on the rent, you want to see the rent.
I have one other question on the page. The one a little further, right there. There's a large window on the right where the concrete, where the
glass
block was taken out. Is this possible? Is it single piece of glass that large?
Yeah, that's sort of what's on the facade now.
Okay, all right. It's really big. I didn't know if you needed a mullion or not. But if you don't, you don't. Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Okay, so are we adjourning this to the next meeting based on two changes? One is to provide information on changing the color of the barriers to match the brick, but then with an option that the trim on top of the barrier be contrasting color to match the lintel as provided. So there'll be two options actually for the color of the bulkheads. And then of course, indication of the HVAC equipment and plan. And then some kind of indication in elevation, whether you just dot in behind the fences or you actually do something else.
I mean, I would also take it a step further. Yeah, cut sheets, and most of these manufacturers do have a bid model of these things. So, I mean, if you can provide that as some additional information, that would be helpful.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay,
All right.
will do.
We'll adjourn for that. Thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a challenge when you repurpose a building
Yes.
that's so old for.
It's a great thing to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very important organization.
No, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so we can go on to additional business, but in relation to that, I could report back that I had a meeting with the mayor and other land use chairs 2 weeks ago. I forgot when it was. And just to let you know, when they asked if there's something I could suggest the village could do, I suggested they eliminate the continuing education requirement for landmarks, not for the computer security or sexual harassment. And that seemed to be something maybe they'll take up. The mayor basically said, I'm surprised because I like continuing education. So I'm not going to vote happen. But don't bake on it.
It's already required to be unrelated by statute.
Okay, so there's the answer. Nobody said that at the meeting, but I went on record to ask. So there you go. And then
You know what might help a way of addressing that? Is there some way that we could get a list of available classes or resources we could go into just?
I thought Jamie said that because I get that occasionally from her.
I used to, but I haven't.
Yeah, Jamie sends them as we get them. So a lot of them, at least the ones that I've seen, are through like Westchester Municipal Planning Federation. So they're not specific to landmarks, but it's sort of like, yeah.
Yes.
Those are a little bit fewer and further between.
Just have to take credits, or is it very specific to something?
I believe it's 4 hours of equipment. I don't know exactly what the language is.
But they let like the land use planning class would count. Jamie said it to us. I remember the first one I got. The connection to landmarks to me is heaviness, but it would still count. So
Maybe if we find things.
Oh, yeah, you find
circular.
Yeah, sure.
well, I subscribe, cost me $400 a year to a service that offers all these seminars. I've taken all 6 of the historic preservation classes. And so I don't have any, and they don't offer any so far, but that cost me something to do.
Yeah, I just finished my 36 for New York State. So
Oh, really? Yeah, and it's February.
Yeah, but the lights are not.
Right, I finished it in
It's not a big
December.
deal.
Oh, because we had to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, would that count towards whatever requirements? Because I'm required.
Anything, you send it to Jamie, I'm sure she'll deal with it appropriately. That's my experience.
And it's worth mentioning that a not unsubstantial budget is allocated for each board member. So if you see something you like, it doesn't have to be a free training through Westchester Municipal Planning Federation. If there's, you know, I think it's $500 per member per year. It's not.
It's a budget.
Yes,
And
you absolutely could.
how do we get the refund then for that reimbursed?
They'll pay for it. So if you send us something and say, I'd like to be enrolled in this, we can enroll you. If you paid for it, as long as you get a clearance first that, I'm happy to refund. Yeah.
So for $400, we could subscribe to Red Becker as one example. And you'd have a zillion different classes, but
Could you send me?
Yeah. So that's, I didn't know that we had to my.
Okay.
Wow, right.
You'll never know unless you ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, nobody said that. Nobody mentioned it, so.
For so there's an engineering firm called SGH, and they have amazing webinars, and some of them relate to historic preservation. Like one of them was about restoring old masonry. And so whenever I see one that looks like it has anything to do with preservation, I'll forward it to the group.
Okay. Yeah, I do theirs as well.
Yeah, there's
AEC Daily also has free ones, but they have
they're free. Yeah, they're free.
a multitude of
This one I found maybe 2 years ago. It was from the Associated with New York State Historical Preservation of somewhere around it. Might have been 2 hours, but it was quite good. Okay. And I had developed a presentation with Guy Boyd. It was on how you get your house certified, registered, but nationally. Okay. I'll circulate that, but it was really good. Okay. A lot of stuff about here's a house that could be, here's a house that's just been so badly fooled with, it's off the list. Yeah. Here's a house that's been fooled with, but it has still preserved its elements, so it could potentially qualify. So
Nice.
Very good.
Good night.
See, thanks for the seat.
All right.
I'll circulate that.
Great. The next thing is design standards. I checked with Seth Roy, the head of the architectural design. I forget what we call it. What's Seth? Board of Architectural. Thank you. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. We sounded very interested to look at our proposed amendments, but there's no official decision yet from his board. I'm very happy to say that our changes to significant structures guide over Brandon and the Hill Factory and 2 other projects are now online. So I don't know if you're familiar with what we did with that, because we didn't chat. You weren't here when we were chatting about it. Yeah, maybe I could show, if you haven't seen it, Jason, maybe I'll probably show you. And if you have any other ideas about other projects, any knowledge, it would be great. Thank you. Talk amongst yourselves and go to the.
Did everyone pay their water bill?
Okay, so resources. There it is.
Just now, a couple days ago. So
Okay,
You can pay it online.
you can do it online now? Finally.
Yes, see? All right, don't tell, glad to come to these meetings.
Yeah.
all right. This is sorry to interrupt, guys. This is the original issue date, April 2010. Now you would know from the if you go down the index, I do think we do show that it's been changed. Did we there? Oh, okay. I didn't even notice that before.
And then for each one that was changed.
Right. So go to Brander. 76. There are 3 projects, Jason, we changed so far. We just updated things to show what really happened. And as you know, I think, Jason, the Brander Hill Factory was demoed a long time ago.
Yeah, it's here by accident.
Yes. Well, this exists now to explain what happened. And you'll see we changed it in October. We got the Board of Trustees to approve it, the changes. And so now you'll see pictures I added of what you'll see if you actually go there. And then there's an explanation of of what happened in terms of the demo permit that was originally obtained and work that happened and how basically, yeah, thank you. It really changed the way HPC and DOB worked together. Oh, I thought we were going to change DOB to building. Actually, I didn't. I thought some people didn't know what DOB meant. That was a comment. Is that an issue you think, Maddie? To me, it means. Okay, in any event.
And even if the board decided we wanted it changed, we could probably just change that without needing to.
Okay, fine. It's fine with me to say DOB.
Simple enough. I mean, you just call out, Department of Buildings and then parentheses DOB. So
I thought we remember it's what it was. In any event, yeah, so make a note. If building department would probably, or DOB building.
Yeah, right there. You've got the zoning board of appeals, ZBA in parentheses, and then you start using ZBA. So you could just do something as simple as that to at least.
Right. So this explains what happened. And then also it explains that if you see there's a gray shed or metal container on site, and that's probably there because the final agreement was that there had to be there was a stipulation that some of the features that were demolished be salvaged and stored for future use. Oh. And so that's a summary. Those 4 bullet points, indentation, is a summary of what's in the stipulations. And then we have then we have the other project that we did was the Varian building. And I forgot what page that is. Varian. Yeah, there it is. 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the reason this one was approached, was amended is it's not necessarily so clear on this photograph. If you go down to a historical photograph that was included originally. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. You'll see the reason we made a change to this one is you can see very clear there were ornate brick chimney originally in the historical photo, and there's a really prominent Western dormer in the middle, and they're not there anymore. And I actually found the drawings when they converted the building into condos in the 80s. And so the purpose was to explain what happened. How come there are these features that I think today, if this project were to come before us, you'd say, you got to keep the chimney, you got to keep the dormer.
Yep. So
what happened? Well, first thing that happened was we didn't have what Historic Preservation Commission back in the 80s. And that's part of the narrative now. And inexplicably, we don't really know what happened to the chimneys of the dormer. Because when you look at the drawings from the 80s, there was no indication of chimneys to be demolished, even when, nowhere on the plans. Yeah. So it's really weird. They must have been demolished sometime before the 80s, or maybe it just was never on the drawings and nobody cared. And the same with the dormer.
Probably did the roofing, and the condo board was like, this is the source of all the water leakage. Let's just get rid of them. We don't use them.
Well, yeah, the developer, the developer certainly knocking them down was a good idea in terms of maximizing the space within it, because obviously they took up a lot of space. So anyway, that was the other project that was changed, just so that somebody doesn't come to us and say, hey, look at this building had ornate chimneys and I'm not going to knock down mine. So here's the precedent. No, it's not a precedent. We weren't around. Okay, and then the third job is the bank building on Main Street. Is it the Ossining National Bank or say it's really funny. The two Ossining banks are called something different. That one. There it is.
One bank. There's a lot of money here.
Yes, there it is. National Bank, not the Bank for Savings. 240.
Thanks, Steve.
Right, the National Bank. Oh, no, down.
The page number.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason this one's approached is you'll see that very prominent, laurels around the upper window, right? Contrast with trim. And if you looked at the C of A, there's no indication of doing that. There's no indication of creating and contrasting colors. And I've always wondered why it's not a monochromatic facade, because if you look at a historic photograph, which is down there, you'll see it was always monochromatic.
Yeah.
But the only thing I could figure out was that picture is the one I added. I found in, I forgot where I got it. But there was some kind of contrasting paint color at some point just before it was approved for construction, for reconstruction. And I assume that must have been some unspoken precedent for painting in black. I don't think it was steel, by the way. I think that's stone because I never saw any rust stains in the picture that might have occurred. So somehow they just got painted black. But again, if somebody comes to us and says, I want to paint my stone window trim a contrasting color, and this is what they did, you know, why can't I do it? I hope we could just point to the fact that for reasons we can't explain, it was transformed this way.
It shouldn't have been done. Yeah.
So anyway, it's like, you know, just so people don't get the wrong idea. And that was it. So again, to follow up, you know, this is an ongoing exercise. Anybody finds a project in the structure guide that it's changed since it was approved. I don't think we have anything as radical as grandeur, which was there and now it's not. But I can't say I've tried every job. But if you drive around and familiarize yourself with what we have, and anybody can see something, it would be great to, you know, continue that exercise. I mean, we have this incredible guide that was put together, not to keep it updated, but shit.
Can't believe my house didn't make this.
Well, you know, that's another thing.
It might be in there, Jason. I mean, I think it might be.
In April, I have to go to the board again and indicate what we want to do for 2024. And to me, it's just a continuation of things that were on the objective list that we reviewed last year. And if there's time in the March meeting to go over this, I think it'd be great before we have the April. I have the April. Having said that, I don't know, Betty, if you can do two things for me. One is, are you able to call up the February 3rd, 2023 memo that I did, the objectives? But actually,
Go ahead and
So what's in the agenda?
no, this one. If you,
Yes.
oh, all right. Well, anyways,
The 20.
yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first part, this is what we've been working from, and previously discussed is no longer, I think, relevant. In our time, we took care of some potential HPC opening web links. There was an idea that maybe we could link more historic preservation venues like the Jug Cavern Walk, Sparta Walk with ours, but we found out we can't. It's against the village protocol. Black History Walking Tour, I think that was something that Joy, what was her name? Yeah, she was going to look into it. She's no longer a member. I don't think, unless somebody would like to develop this, feel free. High school essay video contest. We had one in the winter with somebody who talked about a historic building related to I think a famous Black musician. And landmarking National Register system. This is basically, Stephen, what you were just talking about. Maybe, I don't know, there's something we could put on the website that would elaborate on what you were doing?
You know what, maybe I can dust off the presentation we did about 2 years, maybe it's 3 years ago now. And then we could talk about it.
That would be great. That sounds like a fabulous thing to put on.
Yeah, and then we could see how we really want to turn.
Yeah, that would be great. If you could bring it for next time, that would be terrific.
Okay.
Great. And then the design guidelines, we've attacked that so far preliminarily. I don't know if Jason, if we showed you what we sent into the VAR. Are you able to
Send it over email. I don't know how easy it would be to pull it up.
No, don't pull it up, but if you could send it to Jason.
Yeah.
And then do you know Seth? Do you talk to Seth much? Roy?
Kind of, sort of. When I see he's cousins with my neighbor, so everyone's
okay.
Yeah, I see him at one of their little get-togethers.
I don't want to, bug him too much, but we can't release it or ask the trustees to put it online. VAR doesn't agree with it. And then, if you could scroll down a little bit more. So we're working on that. We do have a memo, which maybe, if you'd like to see it, scroll down on the sheet. Yeah, offsetting versus adjacent communities. I don't know if Maddie, I could even get it to you if you're interested. There's a memo I sent to the mayor about how we compare with other communities around here, including 2 historic districts, one in Saratoga Springs and one in Williamsburg, Virginia, how they handle HPC. And it turns out of all the communities adjacent to us, only Peekskill has a landmark school. They don't have continuing education requirement either, by the way. And I don't mean to make more of it than I should. In any event, so it was just a sheet to show how other communities handle historic preservation. If you're interested, I can send you a copy of it. Sure. All right, I'll send you a copy of it. So that's taken care of. And then if you go down further, coordination with planning VAR. This was something which we really can't talk much about today, I guess, without VAR. But are there duplications that we could possibly eliminate when people have to go before HPC and VAR? A lot of times, you know, VAR's review is just a formality because they're bowing to us that it's maybe a designated building. So why bother going to VAR? Why do people still have to go there? Maybe it's more of a topic that we can't resolve it today, of course, but it's something to engage VAR with. So that's still open. And then down further, please, Maddie. The conformance for the application. Yeah, that's something else to talk about possibly. It says very clearly that if the applicant isn't here, you can't talk about their project. But yeah, we do it sometimes. There's also the thing about the material library. We don't really have it confirmed, as you just saw tonight, that we have a way to store all these samples, you know, to compare afterwards. And I can cite a couple of jobs that were built within the last 5 or 10 years where
It came in one thing and
yeah,
value
I believe, okay, but so, and then the significant sites and structure guide, we've already made some progress on that. Anything else? There's also some jobs possibly to add to it. I don't know if you're aware of the Tudor houses on the hill overlooking Sparta Brook. You know, those Tudor house. I don't know if Steve's aware, but or Catherine, but those I think would be great to add to the
with
job.
one across from the
Yeah.
the parking lot. From
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They're really interesting, I think. So we could talk about that later too. If anybody has any other ideas, that's terrific. And I think that, and then the last one for the objectives was design competition with something else. You know, the Albany Bank for Savings has been vacant. You know, is there anything that we could do possibly to maybe facilitate getting that building in front and center, you know?
Turn it into a Starbucks.
Turn into a Starbucks. Okay. Now, one last thing, maybe it was further up now, and I don't know if you're able to, and we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It's about an hour now. But we were talking once about looking at the web analytics. You know, do people go on our website? And if they do, what do they look at? And it was very nice, Jamie's, web links, and then I think there was also something here about.
Anything else about that?
He had sent out a separate email.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was. So in any event, I don't know if you're able to call up the web analytics. It was just for January.
I can't because it's in.
All right,
So I wish I had been.
In any event, maybe next time, I sent an email out to you and Jamie, but maybe next time it could be for 2023, just something for the year. I mean, we don't care maybe for the month, but I think what I got was just for January. And
For January 24th.
Yeah.
We're just learning how to do this. We're learning because you asked. So I think, you know, she was sort of delving into it and trying to make sure that it was what you had asked for. So if it is, in fact, we could try to do 23.
yeah, I think it'd be interesting, you know, if we could see what, I mean, are we putting time into this and nobody looks at it? I mean, obviously, it doesn't mean we still shouldn't try to make our website as best as it could be, but you know, if there's some people who are really focusing on certain resources, I mean, that's terrific, and I guess possibly that could be something to always try to maintain. So that's it. That's we could go over this again in more detail, and it'd certainly be great, Steve, if you have a chance to bring what you were doing for the next meeting. And I'll bring in the Tudor homes, for example. I have some information on that. Anybody else, Catherine or Jason, anybody else, Mark, anything else about the structure guide or changing, adding any more amendments to the design guide? Would certainly be welcome. Obviously, we won't do it next month, but it's for the rest of the year.
I have
With
nothing.
that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay, thank you. Our hearing is adjourned.
That was the only bang?
Oh,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
you know how to indulge me, that's for sure.
We made such a big deal out of it.